Senator Dickerson has a bill that, as I understand it right now, is just a caption bill. He and I met, and if the bill comes together and is very specific about very specific medical conditions, where there's medical literature supporting that medical marijuana is the best drug with the safest side effect, I'm going to support that bill. And this is about patients and patient care. There have to be some constraints on how it's, moved from seed to product, right? But if the bill covers those restrictions and makes sure it's very tight, very well controlled, and then we, have it focused on some specific medical conditions, I'm going to support the bill, and I'll be an advocate for the bill.
It sounds like you're talking about something beyond, though, just cannabis oil. Exactly. There could be other forms of cannabis that would be permitted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not only cannabis oils, but there's vapor, too. I mean, there are vapor machines that keep it from being, the side effects of smoking, which are very similar or the same as cigarettes and things like that. The vapors do away with those side effects. So there's also that possibility.
So a lot of states that have allowed this, that they've also allowed, more or less street marijuana stuff. Marijuana you can smoke and ingestible marijuana you can eat. So is that a possibility? Or?
No, I don't think so. Edibles have, even in Colorado where they went to recreational use of marijuana, the edibles have been a problem from a safety profile. So I don't see us doing anything like that. Well, again, our goal is to take care of the 4 to 5 illnesses that have been medically shown to be well treated with marijuana, THC basically.
What are those illnesses?
Well, there are several of them: spinal cord injuries, certain types of epilepsy, things like that, cancer, pain, nausea with chemotherapy, things like that. So I'm not writing the bill, Senator Dickerson is, and I look forward to seeing the amendment when he gets it done.
Well, this is an issue that's been around for 20, 30 years. What's changed?
I think people have realized that there are medical conditions out there, people who are suffering who don't have to suffer. And as the information on that and the awareness of that gets out there, the public is warming to the fact that this may be the best way to treat those people who are hurting. And that's really what it's about.
I know there have been multiple polls that indicate that the people are for it, but it still seems to be a sticking point among public safety officials and elected officials.
Well, there's the concern, of course, about its abuse, because we do have a problem in Tennessee with opioid medications, and there's lots of constraints on those, and yet they still wind up being abused. So I think the law enforcement guys are just really concerned about whatever we do, it has to be very careful, and we have to be very conscientious and make sure that we don't set up just another opportunity for abuse.
How is this different than the bill that Democrats have tried to propose, in years past? Or how will it be?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've not looked at their bill, and this was something that we came up with on our own. And I think as a physician in the state senate, they sought me out as a sponsor. Thought it would be a logical person to carry.
Now, you said specifically cannabis oil, so we're not talking about just all cannabis things.
I think this bill will be,
Sorry.
That's okay. I think this will be a limited bill. But we don't have the details worked out yet. But I think we'll have those worked out by Monday.
How limited is this?
On Monday. We're still discussing that. We want to make sure that it's medically appropriate and substantiated, and that it answers the real needs of Tennesseans. If there's a particular illness or a condition or a number of illnesses or conditions that this might be appropriate for, we're going to try to be as inclusive as possible without just opening the door.
Obviously, some Democrat bills have continued to fail on this in the past. Why do you think your bill, could have maybe more success this year?
I think there are two issues. First of all, I do believe that the nature of the conversation has changed over the last several years. If you look at nationwide, 23 states have already approved this. 13 states are considering it. There's a move afoot in Washington now to allow for medical cannabis. And so it's really, the whole environment's changed, number one. Number two, I think it just comes down to the fact that as in the majority party, it might be easier to get a bill through than if everybody should.
The House held, but unfortunately the attorney has lost a family member, and so we're patiently waiting on him. He's working on a draft, and if someone was interested in using that caption.
So is this something you're supporting, or you're just allowing your caption to be used?
Right now, we're looking at the language. I haven't seen the full language, so to know whether to support it or not. Until we see the language, I can't really comment on whether or not I'd be supported. It's my understanding that the obligatory language is supposed to be filed timely Monday, 1:30, the filing deadline. So if one's filed then, we'll know then.
And so why is it the people in the Senate that are mainly working on this, or is there something better for us to talk to in the House?
No, I think it's just being worked on because there's so many elements involved. I think the main thing is that we need to have a discussion. A big push to do anything about it. This has been talked about for years. It's never really been a discussion more than a briefing in the committee process. So I think that's the main impetus for it.
So it sounds like you're not made up your mind one way or another whether you support this issue.
But really, because I haven't seen anything in writing, then it's really hard to know what to support.
Maybe is it really about the exceptions then, like which things we can be used for? Or?
Well, there's so many things involved in this. Oversight, requirements, medical delivery methods, things like that. It's just there's so many moving parts. That's why I think it's a process that's going to take a long time. It's not just going to happen until you see a first draft. There's no way really to know how many departments are actually impacted. I think diagnoses and things like that are also in play, and so we just have to look at all the different